light year. And I come in peace. Ironically, the view of the whole Earth from space has given many the feeling that we should not make our pilgrimages outward to the stars, but rather only inward to the ever-demanding needs of humanity. Now, I believe that a whole people must have both the humility to nurture the earth and the pride to go to Mars.
Liftoff. We have liftoff. The clock is running. Liftoff. Is clear. Let's look good, Mike. Roger.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. Now steering first precise.
Recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom and one of the first 2 humans to set foot on another world, astronaut Buzz Aldrin.
During the Apollo 11 flight, when Neil Armstrong and I were the first humans to set foot on the moon, we had a heavy workload. But as we moved from one task to another, I found time to gaze up and out across space at the Earth, our home in the infinity of the universe. You could hold up a thumb and cause the eclipse of the Earth. And when you look down, son, there's only a black void beyond the edge of the moon. Magnificent desolation. One moment, you're in complete darkness. The next, in the sun's hot floodlight. With no atmosphere, there's absolutely no refracted light. If you stick out your hand past the shadow's edge, in the sun, it's like punching through a barrier into another dimension. I was grinning ear to ear behind my gold visor. Neil leaned toward me and clapped his gloved hand on my shoulder. All he said was, "Isn't it fun?" By the way, there was never any doubt that I would be there. Even as a boy back in Montclair, New Jersey, I knew. You see, my mother's maiden name was Marion Moon. It was fun, fascinating, the adventure of a lifetime. I can see why storage tech would want to capture some of that image and imagination when talking about virtual space. I feel so strongly about the possibilities of space that I've tried to remain at the forefront of efforts to ensure that people are actually involved in space tourism. We should venture outward in space, learning about astronautical navigation and weightlessness, medical research, new mineral resources. These all demand our sustained exploration. We're advancing the world's telecommunications through satellites, Landsat, mapping from space. We can help all scientists better understand the third rock from the sun. Now there's even talk of colonizing Mars by creating an atmosphere for the red planet. It can be done. The nations of the world need to adopt a clear policy that invites new universal space cooperation. I know you share the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown. I know that because I've never met anyone who doesn't share that same curiosity. The human race is fully capable of accepting expanding roles in the exploration of space. People will live and work in thriving communities beyond the Earth. It may sound futuristic, but it's not science fiction. Space is nothing until you make something of it. It's a tool for intelligent advancement. I believe with all my heart that space is there to maximize the human potential. There's plenty of room in space for everybody. The possibilities are endless. Space is there so that we may understand what we are and who we are and enrich life on this planet. So, welcome to space. I look forward to seeing all of you in the future. Have you heard the famous story about the chief of the British Postal Service who was told about Alexander Graham Bell's invention of the telephone? Basically, he was unimpressed. Americans, he said, have need for the telephone, but we don't. We have plenty of messenger boys. The mayor of a large American city, on the other hand, was wildly enthusiastic about the telephone. I can see a time, he said, when every city will need one. Of course, we excuse these misjudgments when we remember that for almost all of human experience or existence on this planet, right down to the time when both of those men were born, a message couldn't move any faster than a sailing ship or a running horse. Then, in a little more than a lifetime, the world was transformed beyond their imagination. From the steamship to the spaceship, from the telegraph to television, slide rule to supercomputer, and ink press to the internet. In the next century, the space age will revolutionize communication to the same degree that the last century dwarfed all previous millennia. We're on the threshold of a new generation of satellites that can locate and track anything on the Earth's surface. Satellites that don't just amplify signals, but that can switch and route torrents of information at gigabits per second, high-definition TV, high-resolution medical scans, the entire contents of the Library of Congress and the British Museum. Voice-activated receivers may soon be in every car, pager, and backpack, providing the most direct route to a new restaurant or the exact location of your children. And not too far in the future, we'll see wristwatch-sized phones linked directly to satellites, wristwatch TVs with instant access to the internet. They'll be independent of local communication systems, and they'll be immune to regional disasters. On my way to the moon, I looked back at Earth floating in the blackest velvet black that I'd ever seen. It looked like a fragile Christmas ornament with its sapphire seas and patches of sun-baked brown. I could scarcely see the great Rift Valley in Africa where humanity was born. But of course, we didn't see any national boundaries. That view of spaceship Earth as the fragile home of our human family is one reason why I today promote space tourism. But in a different way, satellite and information technologies are achieving the same goal. They're erasing not only national boundaries, but every kind of boundary, and not just for those fortunate enough to go into space, but for everyone. A nation's wealth and gross national product is increasingly tied to the strength of its communications network. At present, only a small fraction of the 6 billion people on Earth have access to modern communication and information technologies. The most important outcome of the explosion in these technologies may be the entry of billions of people into the information age. In this sense, we're all explorers, not just the astronauts, but all of us here, every working person who adds some small increment to redefining how we all live. The future has always turned out to be a lot stranger than anyone's predictions. And that's mainly because we tend to make straight-line projections, like the mayor and his vision of the telephone. But since change is exponential, one has to wonder what the real future may hold for humanity, a species which one writer described as an imperfect people of irrepressible spirit, of mathematics and music, of love and wonder, who dare to dream of reaching for the stars. Thank you.